Okay, let me go to you, Imran. We have a super chat right now. Super chat from Chill Murray. Thank you so much for the super chat. What are your thoughts on the RICO allegations? And will this avenue towards the Kim Porter homicide with the shooting in the amended filing?
Well, a sex trafficking case, if they're building a sex trafficking case, Jesse, that would be something that would lend itself if there is a large operation around P. Diddy, allegedly. That would lend itself to a RICO charge, right? So when I heard about these allegations coming out and what I read in the civil lawsuits and the complaints that were filed, it sort of lent itself to the air of a RICO claim. So I think as the feds are looking at this and they're looking at whatever evidence they're able to glean from the raids, it would be possibly looking towards a RICO charge based on the underlying sex trafficking allegations that I think they're investigation. The Kim Porter aspect, I can't speak to that.
This is his ex-girlfriend,
right, and who passed away
in 2018.
Right, yeah. But as far as I know, that would be a
Welcome everybody. Welcome one, come on. I am your host with the motherfucking most, Chill motherfucking Murray. And you are now tuned in to the Live from the Spot podcast. Welcome everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Everybody tuning in or not tuning in. Y'all know how we do every time. Hopefully, I'm not gonna say hopefully, but for right now, at least, all jokes aside, right now, after this, we're gonna take a little bit of break from Diddy because there's been a lot going on. Like everything's just been happening day after day after day after day after day. You damn near want to jump on every day just to report on everything that's happening. So I said, all right. After the last one I did the full list of everybody that's gonna be doing what and what. And I had a feeling Ethiopia was going to say I'm testifying from that last one. I had a huge feeling Ethiopia was going to say, all right, you got me. Because she was the only one, as we saw, did not clean her Instagram. Christina cleaned that Instagram. Who was that? The Frankie Stella dude. He cleaned his Instagram. So, yeah. That was key telling right there when Christina cleaned her shit mainly and Ethiopia didn't. The chief head of staff cleaned her shit, wiped all her social media out the way. But Miss Ethiopia, the head of Motown, did not. That was very telling to me. I don't know about anybody else, but that was very telling to me. Okay? So, like I said, we have a lot to get into. Once again, I want to give a shout out to Law and Crime Network for allowing me to ask that question live on the air. I needed to ask that question live on the air because I wanted to know why the news outlets and everybody else was being hush hush on the RICO part in that motherfucking, which we're going to get into again, the amended filing of Lil Rod's case. He specifically kept saying the words, and I kept pointing that out. I said, he's specifying RICO. He is emphasizing RICO. RICO. He kept saying that inside the damn thing. Kept putting RICO Enterprise in there, and I'm like, all right. When you putting allegations like that in there, and you got Lucian Grange name in that, that's why Diddy was paced around Miami a little worried. See, he wasn't worried until Universal Music Group CEO was involved in the case. He wasn't worried until that. Now it's a oh shit. Because the oh shit is, and I was talking to somebody about this earlier, the oh shit is, you open up the avenues for Clive Davis, you open up the avenues for Tommy Mottola, who you bought the house from, Clive Davis, who you got the label from, you start opening up different avenues of yourself, sir. That's why Lucian Grange is, matter of fact, we're going to get into a couple of things here. I think we should start with the amended case filings. I think we should get into that first because of the new things that were added to it. I think that's what's going to help drive the rest of this pod as well, because it's a lot, man. It's a lot. It is a lot. So they actually updated the case through, I should say, from March 25th through March 27th. In 1 second, here. Oop. Not you just yet. Doo-doo-doo. Okay, there we go. Bada boom, bada bing, bada bing. I don't know why I've been getting tongue tied all day today. Anyway, so as y'all remember, this is the Lil Rod court filings. Now, there has been some key changes that we're going to notice here as I'm going to scroll down through them. So, one key change to note is the fact that now these say defendants. Okay? These now say defendants. The case has been amended. Cuba Gooding Jr. is now a defendant. So, if you notice, they only put out in the media that Cuba Gooding Jr. was named now a co-defendant. When in fact, these are all co-defendants now. These are all co-defendants now. And if you also notice, they took out who? Who'd they take out? You don't see Ethiopia's name anymore. No longer a co-defendant. You know why? Well, you got here is Motown Records. But they have excluded Miss Ethiopia because she is now on the plaintiff's side and said, I will testify. Okay? So that's one person said, hey, yep, I'm good. You got me. I'm just, like I said, scrolling down through some things I want to show you guys. So one thing they did add to this was this. So they wanted to note the time of the Chalice recording studio shooting. So if you look here, this is a photo of Mr. Combs was taken at Chalice Recording Studios outside of Studio G hours before G was shot. Just more evidence of the shooting took place inside the studio and not outside the studio like Diddy tried to say to the police. This is a text message here. The shooting occurred a half a block away from Chalice, and it was a result of a robbery. There are police reports corroborating this. Please wait for the facts to come out before you start contributing to the defamation of our organization. That was a message that he got from Chalice Recording. Crazy. More footage here. I should say more pictures here of Chalice Recording Studios. But this was interesting. So they put what looks like here the night of Mr. Combs published the Love Records Chalice Recording Studios assignment list. Mr. Combs stayed in Studio G throughout the duration of the writers' camp. So this is who was there, I guess, either that night, that Friday night. You see Studio A had the stereotypes. Eric Bellinger was in there. Jazzy was in there. Who is that? Harmony Samuels. Ty Dolla $ign. Nija. Let me make sure of something real quick because I don't want to be all in the video, all in the way. Don't want to be all in your way. Wish I could zoom. Hold on. Nope, can't zoom in. I was trying to zoom in for y'all just a little bit. But, oh, there we go. So, these are the people that were there. Let's start from the top. Stereotypes, Eric Bellinger, Jazzy, Mike City, Harmony Samuel Squad, Ty Dolla Sign, Nija, Bongo, Leon Thomas, Diddy and Rourke, Ant Clemens, and Hit Boy, Nova Wave. Okay, so Hit Boy had his own room. So those are the people that were there at Chalice Studios, actually. Quite interesting that they started to throw, like I said, newer information in here as well. There was something else in here I was trying to find. Mr. Combs attempted to groom Mr. Jones in gay sex act. Yeah, we read about that. We read majority of this. And like I said, there was so many added new pictures that people started to find, I guess, in the new court filings, in the amended filings, let's just say. And like I said, I found it quite odd that not odd, but I found it quite interesting that they started throwing out the amended one with all the new pictures in it. And it's like if you didn't read the old one, you don't necessarily know what's new in there. See, this I don't remember being in there. The Christina Coram. I don't remember Christina Coram's picture being right here in this part right here, like identifying her basically. And then another thing is I noticed that they keep implementing Young Miami as the carrier of the Tucci, when we plainly read here, according to Mr. Jones, defendant Coram wanted Mr. Combs' drug of choice immediately ready when he asked for it. According to Mr. Jones, defendant Coram ordered sex workers for Mr. Combs. On one occasion, she sent it's higher up. It's higher up, excuse me. So, according to Mr. Jones, during the 13 months he lived and traveled with Mr. Combs, where's it right here? Okay, defendant Coram required all employees from the butler to the chef of the housekeepers to walk around with a black Prada pouch or fanny pack filled with cocaine, GHB, ecstasy, marijuana, gummies, and Tucci, the pink drug. So everybody had to walk around. Everybody's trying to say Young Miami was just doing it and some of the sex workers. No, he had the whole goddamn staff doing it, including her. Okay? It was not just Young Miami carrying around the Tucci shit. Everybody was having the Tucci shit. He made sure everybody had it around him. This was a new picture inside of the yacht. They didn't have the picture before of him inside of the yacht. This is a brand new picture here. Excuse me. And what appears to be, actually, let's identify something here. This is Sean Combs' butler. Frankie Stella has the black Prada pouch. So this is Frankie here. As mentioned above, while on the yacht from December. Okay. Another one of the drug transporters, allegedly. But one that was caught was this one. Brendan Paul. And here goes Frankie Stella again. What's this right here? Jose Puff's tech guy. Okay. This was interesting too. So they added this to the case as well. So defendant Mr. Combs hired private investigators Russell Green to seek out, harass, bribe individuals to provide dirt on Mr. Jones. So Upon information and belief, Jose Cruz intentionally hides behind the camera and from social media and the internet due to all of the incriminating acts. He was required to record for Mr. Combs. So let's read here bottom what I just read. On or about March 2nd, 2024, Mr. Jones was informed by a close friend from his church that Mr. Combs' engineer, Matt Testa, provided an individual's phone number to LA based private investigator Russell L. Green. Russell L. Green. Why does that name sound familiar? Why does that name just stand out to me? Russell L. Green. See, the name stands out. Robert Russell L. Green. I wonder if any relation to Robin Green. Anyway, because her name is also in this too. We gotta listen to. So here's more of Russell Green. It's Russell Green. Give me your number. Are you available to speak with me? Hey, I can chat in a couple hours if that's cool. Sounds good. I'm at an event from 3 to 5, so I'll be available after 5. I'm on the West Coast. Where are you? I'm in LA. I can talk at 1:30 as well. Okay, you available now? Did you just call me? Yes. Upon information and belief, Mr. Green attempted to bribe this anonymous individual with an uncertain amount of money in exchange for her producing text messages or any evidence that this individual could produce to paint Mr. Jones in a bad light. During a call, Mr. Jones, this individual expressed fear for their safety and the safety of their family. This is a clear example of some of the tactics implemented by Mr. Combs and the members of Combs' RICO and TVPA enterprise. Wow, even put that in there now. Wow. So, like I said, there's a few new things that were added here. Okay, we didn't read the cause of actions, but let me see here. There was a couple of things that were added to this as well. I'm just trying to skim through and see if we can find a couple of things that were brand new that started popping out. Because the whole thing came out with the sex workers. I'm just trying to find that now. I didn't get to highlight it now because like I said, I just got these recently. The new ones. It's the 30th now. I just got these like a day or so ago, but I've been at work. So, okay. So it's a little bit further down. This is more about the drug talk. This is more about his excuses for having the drugs on him. Then you got the Venmo and PayPal. This is how he basically paid for it. And one of the sex workers there to create the vibe for the Love album. Okay. Now we're getting somewhere. The RICO enterprise, which all defendants have engaged in. Let's see. Here, now we're getting to the nitty gritty. Like I said, he keeps emphasizing that whole enterprise thing. Frankie and Mr. Combs agreed to provide Mr. Jones $20,000 per song. We all know that was bullshit. That didn't happen. The collective defense, Sean Combs. Where are we at? Where are we at with the sex workers? Okay, so this is the joint event. That's the. This is basically the partnership between him and all the different labels that he had signed to. So Universal Music Group was involved in all three of these deals here. But as you notice, there were different ones. So Bad Boy Recordings, then you had Bad Boy Records, Universal Interscope, Jeffen, A&M, a subsidiary defended Universal Music Group. Then you had another subsidiary of Universal Music Group, Motown Records. So that's another reason they keep implementing the RICO part in it, because if you notice, like I said, the defendant, Universal Music Group, is in all three of his dealings throughout the years from 2003 all the way to 2023. Universal Music Group has always held him down. So there's more evidence that he can implement, like I said, Lucian Grange and Universal Music Group as part of a RICO, helping and aiding and financing everything that he's been doing. If he's been doing any type of sex trafficking, if he's been doing anything at all, they're going to basically say that UMG was funding him to be able to do all of this, unfortunately. So, and the reason why I say is because, like I said, Universal Music Group, it's a different pipeline. When you talk about, like I said, that pinata got poked and it's wide the fuck open now. So I'm trying to find now, like I said, the part about the sex workers, because that's, like I said, where things get a little bit tricky and a little bit more sticky. Going to Miss Fair Independence, UMG, and the. Okay, so whoa, here we go. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a second. Wait a second. Here we go. Because this wasn't in here also. This is Ethiopia. There's stuff from Ethiopia in here testifying already. Well, not testifying, but definitely saying things already. So hold on. Well, here we go. Look at this. According to the declaration of Ms. Heptamariam, as the chairwoman and CEO of Motown Records, she reported directly to defendant Lucian Grange. Ms. Heptamariam also states that she was given approval by defendant UMG to enter the partnership with Sean Combs to help establish Love Records. It is safe to assume that defendant Lucian Grange and Ms. Ethiopia, the direct supervisor, was aware of and signed off on the Universal Music Group and Sean Combs partnership, which led to the establishment of Love Records. Excuse me. According to Ethiopia, UMG and what does it say? Mr. Financed Sean Combs for proved invoices associated with the creation of the Love album. She did not identify any mechanism, Mr. or I don't know why I keep saying MR. Oh, Motown Records. I don't know why I keep saying Mr. Motown Records or Universal Music Group implemented to ensure the financial support remitted to Mr. Combs and Love Records went to approved invoices associated with the Love album. If the treatment of plaintiff Jones is any indication of how defendants Universal Music Group and Motown Records ensured that their financing of Love Records and the Love album was applied in accordance with the partnership agreement, then they would have realized the artist like Plaintiff Jones had worked for several months on the Love album without full compensation. So that was more just why he didn't get paid, basically. But it sounds like from right there, from what I read, that Ethiopia has already, like I said, started sending information in. She's already started to give information there. Where RICO Enterprise again? There's him and Brendan. Now, I guess I'm going to come up on that other picture too that I said. The more that they keep implementing this RICO stuff, the more you're really going to be able to say, "Oh, he's really done. He's really done with this picture here." Let's see, sure. Here we go. Yeah, this is what I was looking for. Okay, so upon information and belief, defendants Lucian Grange, in his capacity as CEO of Universal Music Group, authorized Motown Records and Universal Music Group to provide financial resources to defendant Sean Combs and Love Records through wire transfers to defendant Sean Combs and Love Records accountant Robin Greenhill. So this was one. Now I'm going to pause right here real quick. The accountant Robin Greenhill. So I want to pull up something real quick, and huge shout out to that Surprise Witness TV. I want you guys to go like and subscribe. Go like and subscribe, Miss That Surprise Witness TV. Amazing show and amazing podcaster she is. But I want to pull up a clip of hers real quick because she made a very interesting revelation that this woman is actually linked to the Britney Spears cover up. Little do people know. And you're going to see what I mean by that in a second. There we are. Okay, here we go.
So I thought we could take this opportunity to kind of recap and talk about what's going on based on the public record with the P. Diddy situation. And then I thought, as a little treat, we could go over that lawsuit that was filed by Lil Rod, I think is his stage name, Jones. So let's go over what we can find in the public record as far as what's going on. This isn't new. I'm not the first person to talk about this. Just doing it as lawsuit was filed a month ago exactly today. I'm public filing. It was free. Didn't have to buy it. It's available. Being sued. Blue Taylor, who's Britney Spears' pattern of false representation, made like basically lied, would ensure goods, services, and sex for free. Defendants profited financially and otherwise from the enterprise. Now look at this. Robin Greenhill, the accountant, would ensure the wiring, funds transfer, or cash payments to S workers. Frankie Santella, Moy Bond, Brendan Paul, and KK would also be responsible for paying the S workers in cash. Young Miami, Jade, and Daphne Joy were paid a monthly fee they were paid monthly to work as the S workers. And they received payment via wire transfer from none other than Robin Greenhill, which outlined defendants' ongoing criminal operation. And again, it's sort of kind of all just point back to the same people, because Robin Greenhill was also one of the accountants on Britney Spears' conservatorship. And now that it's all in court, like they were stealing money, again, has not been decided. They've been skipping out on depositions. But this woman works for Lou Taylor at TriStar Sports and Entertainment. Robin Greenhill is being literally accused of criminal activity in a sex trafficking operation. This is very serious. Britney Spears said, the only thing in the state of California that I can compare my situation to in the state of California is sex trafficking.
I packed my bags and went to that place. I worked 7 days a week, no days off, which in California, the only similar thing to this is called sex trafficking, making anyone work against their will, taking all their possessions away, credit card, cash, phone, passport card, and placing them in a home where they work with the people who live with them. They all lived in the house with me, the nurses, the 24/7 security.
She said that. Defendants illegally acquired wire transfers, money transfers, credit cards, and bank cards via search engines and other online platforms to further their What does this mean? How do you illegally acquire?
But that was mainly what I wanted to show you guys. So once again, huge shout out to that Surprise Witness TV. Like, I absolutely love her channel. I want everybody to go like and subscribe to her. But I thought that was quite interesting that the same accountant that was involved in the Britney Spears cover-up and is involved in a few other different investments is also the same accountant that handles Diddy shit. Very odd. Very odd indeed.
Hi, Robin. How are you?
That's Robin Greenhill at LAX, the woman at the center of Britney Spears' conservatorship who nobody is talking about. Until now.
She was part of Lou Taylor's TriStar company, which pretty much controlled all of Britney's finances.
Yes, Robin ran Britney's life on a day-to-day basis, having final say on Britney's financial decisions, whether they be her ability to take a trip, get new countertops, or have hairdressers come to her house. Even more, she was allegedly involved in bugging Britney's bedroom and phones.
Robin, do you have any involvement in the bugging of Britney's phones? Is that you, Robin? I mean, is that your decision? She totally ignored everything.
And also, when Britney was like at award shows, Robin would always be by her side.
She became like a personal conservator.
An odd position for a business manager.
Anybody you talk to says this was the most bizarre thing. It kind of went south when Britney stopped performing. Lou Taylor sends an email to Jamie saying, you know, I don't like this deal anymore because now I'm not making as much money. I want a minimum of $500,000. And Jamie writes back, okay.
But it's not like things are gonna change now that Lou and Robin are out and Britney's suddenly going to get everything she wanted, like having hairdressers come to the house more often.
By the way, Britney got new hair.
She looks so good.
Let freedom ring, baby. So thanks, Brittany. And as for Robin, who still works with the Kardashians, stay tuned. We're sure there's plenty more that'll come to light soon.
People.
I bet the fuck it will. Because word has been getting out in the street that ain't really Brittany either. But that's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother story right there. It's a whole nother story. So, let us get back to the court case, shall we? All right, so as you guys saw, I wanted to move on to that as well. So, Count Robert Hill, upon information and belief, Miss Greenhill ensured the wiring funds transfer or cash payments to sex workers were completed. Defendant Christina Coram, through her direct reports, Frankie Stella, Moy Bien, and Brendan Paul would negotiate the fees the sex workers received and would ensure that the workers are paid in one of the manners detailed above. So this was more, from what I'm hearing, and, you know, allegedly, from what I'm hearing, if Brendan Paul, Frankie Stella, let's read this again. Defendant Christina Coram, through her direct reports, Frankie Stella, Moy Bien, and Brendan Paul would negotiate the fees for the sex workers. So when I'm hearing that the drug guys are mainly the ones that are mainly the ones deciding who gets paid what, that sound like some pack shit to me. That sound like some pack distribution to me. Like, all right, you get this pack, you get this much. You get this pack, you get this much back. You get this off, you get this much back. You know what I'm saying? That's what that should sound like to me. I don't know about anybody else. Like I said, allegedly. Okay? But according to Plaintiff Jones, defendant Sean Combs bragged about having several women on monthly stipend. I bet you he did. According to Plaintiff Jones, the women who received these payments are Carisha Romika Brownlee, aka Young Miami, Jade Ramey, aka Jade, and Daphne Joy Cervantes Narvas. I hope I said that right, aka Daphne Joy, who were paid a monthly fee to work as Mr. Combs' sex workers. Based on information and belief, they received payment via wire transfer from Robin Greenhill. It is unclear if they were provided the appropriate United States federal tax documents for these payments, or if they independently declared these payments on their taxes. It is unclear if the defendants, Lucian Grange, in his capacity as CEO of Universal Music Group, Motown Records, and Universal Music Group, requested an audit of defendant Sean Combs and Love Records financial records to ensure the financial support they provided to defendant Sean Combs and Love Records as part of their general business partnership was not being used to pay Carisha Romika, Jade, Daphne. Yeah. So, that is another reason why he keeps trying to emphasize that word RICO enterprise, because if Mr. Jones is basically paying these girls to be, be at his pleasure, as well as he is paying these women to basically carry around drugs and guns for him, yeah, that is why he keeps emphasizing the word RICO. I know everybody keeps trying to throw around the sex trafficking word, okay, because he got the sex workers. But, yeah, it's a little different when you also got these girls carrying around stuff. That is the part that Lil Rod keeps trying to emphasize to people, that these girls are actually transporting things with them as they're moving around the country with this man. And that Lucian Grange is basically supplying the funds. And Christina, of course, is supplying the fun. Lucian supplying the funds, Christina supplying the fun. That is basically what Lil Rod is implementing right now. So, Let's move along further here. Let's read this. The separate racketeering acts all relate to each other in that they were a part of concerted actions by defendants to use the endorsement and channels of the enterprise to operate their businesses to fraudulently induce Plaintiff Jones and the artists, creatives, musicians, and producers to utilize their talents and labor to produce music and other tangible goods and services without full compensation. In addition to the forced free labor, they use their power and influence to force these creatives to solicit sex workers and to engage in unwanted sexual encounters with the sex workers. Yeah, Lil Rod trying to put them underneath shit. Man, his lawyer done. Oh man, oh man. Defendants committed multiple acts of sex trafficking in violation of 18 use. Man, Enterprise just as detailed throughout this pleading. Defendant Sean Combs Love Records. So basically, this is all the names here. Knowingly affected interstate or foreign commerce or within the special maritime and territorial jurisdiction. Okay, so that was another thing. Basically, they alleged that the sex workers were mainly used for. So what it was they made it seem like Diddy was trying to use the sex workers basically for the Love album to create the vibe, when in fact that he was actually just having the sex workers move around with him, help distribute the shit around or whatever. Of course, create a good time and a good vibe, but he mainly had them moving shit as well as pleasuring him. You know what I mean? Allegedly, that's what Lil Rod is trying to get at. That the girls were basically carrying around that shit, but they was also recruiting people. You know what I'm saying? That was another thing that came out recently, that they was trying to recruit Kriya Sean when she came to that house. Remember when Kriya Sean came to the house? And then I saw, I believe we looked at the yacht party too, where she was on the boat, the New Year's boat. So they was trying to get Kriya Sean down with that shit too. These are the trip details right here. Your trip with Javier. Let's see, what does it say right here? Okay. By way of example, on or about February 8, 2023, Plaintiff Jones was forced by defendant Sean Combs and Christina Corum to send Ubers to transport a sex worker to and from Sean Combs' home located at Two Star Island Drive in Miami, Florida. That's one of them they rated. We have the complete text thread and have intentionally opted not to include it here to protect the identity of this sex worker. Defendant Combs forced Mr. Jones to have sex with this individual against his will. According to Mr. Jones, defendant Combs felt there was too much testosterone in the studio and wanted sex workers there to create the vibe for the Love album. Upon information and belief, this Uber and this sex worker were compensated from the financial support. Defendants Lucian Grange, in this capacity, authorized Motown. Okay. Wow. Flying them in, flying them out. Flying them in, flying them out. Look at that. He's got the trip details. You rated Eddie. You rated Yosvani. From at least in or about September 2022 up to and including in or about November 2023 in the state of New York, California, Florida, the USVI, and elsewhere. Defendants Sean Combs and Christina Corum and others known and unknown in and affecting interstate commerce did knowingly combine, conspire, confederate, and agree to recruit, entice, harbor, transport, provide, obtain, and maintain by any means a person, and to benefit financially and by receiving anything of value from participation in a venture which has engaged in any such act, knowing and in reckless disregard of the fact that means of force, threats of force, fraud, and coercion and combination of such means would be used to cause the person, Plaintiff Jones, to engage in a commercial sex act, to wit defendants Sean Combs and Christina Coram, and others known and unknown caused Plaintiff Jones to engage in a commercial sex acts in the United States cities of Miami, LA. So that's the part where you're talking about the sex trafficking part again, because he was being forced to have sex with these workers when he didn't even want to do anything. That's where sex trafficking comes in again, because that's what Cassie was talking about with the sex trafficking. Diddy hires these sex workers basically to say he's creating a vibe, but in fact, that he actually gets these sex workers basically to do shit to you and transport them around the fucking world, transport your ass around the world. They have to do shit to you and all this other shit, and all while he's trying to promise you things that you ain't never gonna get, and yada yada yada. And he doing all this basically for his pleasure. He's saying he gonna help you, but in all hindsight, he got all this shit around just for his personal motherfucking pleasure. Nothing else but his motherfucking personal pleasure. Here we go. Christina Coram's consent. Defendants Combs' property is protected by 24-hour security, and all visitors must be verified before entry. Sex workers and last 2 digits of their cell phone numbers. Woo! Woo! Look at this shit here. Look at this shit here. 2-Star Island Drive, Miami. I'll bring it up close for y'all just a little bit too. For y'all at home. Sex workers and last 2 digits of their cell phone numbers, dates of forced solicitation. So these are all the dates, basically, that he basically forced all these girls on them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All the way up to May, it looks like. So between February and May, I want to say. January and May. The end of January and May. Oh, wait, that would mean the New Year's boat party. That's what that meant. The New Year's yacht party he did. If I'm seeing these 2 dates, he threw a party that night with Miami and them. Oh, so remember we looked at the yacht party footage and we saw those girls. And I remember I was kind of curious. I was like, all those girls look like they're getting together with themselves. I remember seeing it. I was like, that don't look right. And it looked like they just recruited somebody. That's what I kept saying in the pod. I was like, yo, they look like they just bagged Shorty just now. Like, and Diddy just joined in. Like, that was odd to me right there. So, more confirmation of what the fuck we was looking at. If that ain't more confirmation of what the hell we was looking at that night when we said, yo, look like they just bagged Shorty and recruited her, didn't it? From at least in or about September 2022 up to and including in or about 2023. Oh, yeah, we read that part, I think. We read that part. I should say we read the reiteration. This is the reiteration of the same thing. Because it's just confirming things, of course. Look at this. Enterprise members. Oh, my goodness. DeForest Taylor, Brendan Paul, and Christina Coram. Brendan Paul again. Proximity dates travel, starting and destination. This is basically when the people that were transporting the drugs for him. Man. Methods and means of enterprise upon information and belief among the means and methods of enterprise by which the defendants and their associates conducted and participated in the conduct of the affairs of the enterprise with the following: members of the enterprise and their associates procured, transported, and distributed ecstasy, cocaine, GHB, ketamine, marijuana, mushrooms, and Tucci by packing these substances in their carry-on luggage and going through TSA. Oh, man. And then you got Brendan Paul, Christina. Oh, my gosh. Look at they got Christina at April 28th carrying shit from L.A. to Virginia to L.A. Man, they gonna man. Oh my goodness gracious there. Oh man. They got in living color right there. In living color. See, it's a little different when you got shit like that going on. I just want you to understand it's a little different when you got that going on. And then this is one of the most incriminating pictures of them all when you have Brendan Paul right here. So, according to Mr. Jones, Combs Enterprise defendants informed the members and associates of the enterprise that it would be safe to transport narcotics through in their carry-on luggage because, according to a TSA advisory, TSA security officers do not search for marijuana or other illegal drugs. The following is a screenshot of a video taken. So this is actual from a video as well. As you can see down here, this is from a video. Video taken on Mr. Combs' yacht on or about December 25th, so Christmas time, 2022 at 2:40 a.m. Brendan Paul is videotaped with one of the black pouches defendant Combs and Christina Corum required the associates and members of the Combs RICO enterprise to carry. So basically, they just carried around these black pouches. They were somewhat all the time. This pouch was filled with ecstasy, cocaine, GHB, ketamine, marijuana, mushrooms, and that Tucci again. Or tuck. I don't know if it's Tucci or tuck. I ain't doing the shit, so it don't matter. This is a very incriminating picture. Very, very incriminating picture, considering he just got released on that $2,500 bond. And Gene Deal pointed out a very, very good observation. We're going to get into it in a second, too. He could possibly be a mole. He could have possibly been a mole with him being able to be let go the way he was for $2,500 bond. But who knows? That part remains to be seen, I want to say. What is this here? Oh. That's just the medical marijuana screening. Okay. Anywho, we can go back down to where we were. Almost there. There we go. Okay. All right. So there wasn't too much more, I don't believe, that they added to the amended filings, but they did add some other key things that we were able to find as far as some different exhibits. Once again, this is public record from court listener. You can see. Doo-doo-doo. You know what? Give me 1 second here. Make this a lot easier, shall we? Let's make this just a little bit easier for us. Said I kind of didn't have time to do this earlier, but all right. So, like I said, making it a little bit easier to look at things, because looking at it on the site just isn't going to be sufficient for a lot of your eyes, and I didn't want to do that to y'all. Let's look at this first one here. We're just going to run through them real quick. Because, why not? Okay, so Exhibit 1. What is this here? Aha! This is the declaration from Lucian Grange. That's what I'm looking for. I, Sir Lucian Grange, SBE, declare as follows. I am the chairman of Chief Executive Officer or CEO of Universal Music Group, public company organized and existing under the laws of the Netherlands with its principal operating offices and companies located in Santa Monica. I have personal knowledge of the facts set forth in this declaration and have called and sworn as a witness. I could and would competently testify thereto. I have been named personally as defendant in this action, along with Ethiopia, the former chairman and chief executive officer of Motown Records, which is not an independent company but a record label of UMG. Ah, wait a minute. Do I see Christina's name in this? No. Oh, so this is him and this is basically saying that no, I stand with Ethiopia. Okay. But he really wants to stand by himself and remove himself, if anything. Okay, so the court lacks personal jurisdiction over me. As the amended complaint, I am a resident of California. I knew okay, so the amended complaint makes for completely conclusory and factually unsupported allegations about my supposed New York activity that I was involved in, disseminating unidentified false information to unidentified artists in New York, that I sent unidentified advertisements to unidentified artists in New York, that identified unidentified marketing and soliciting to artists. So this is him trying to just wipe himself clean of this. Not only are none of these allegations supported by a single fact that they are completely untrue and absurd, and I fully intend to pursue both plaintiff and his counsel for having made such false accusations against me, as I will detail below. I had nothing to do with Miss Hampton left Motown Records at the end of 2002. I understand that on March. Okay, so he's saying he had nothing to do with her leaving. Universal is not an actual entity, but a name commonly used to refer generally to the various companies and labels owned by UMG. So he's trying to do the little loophole trick right there. He's trying to say Universal Music Group is not an actual entity, but a name. That's a little loophole right there that he could use to get Universal Music Group out of the whole RICO thing. That's actually key. That's lawyer talk right there. The plaintiff and his counsel identified my California addresses in the amended complaint for no purpose other than to harass me. And I said that too. I was like, why on earth did they put the addresses of these people inside of the damn thing? I was wondering that. I was like, yeah, that's a little harsh that they put people's addresses inside of this shit. That was a little bit extra. Like everybody addresses in this shit. Cuba Gooding Jr. address in this bitch, Christina address in this shit. I'm like, why y'all got? And then there's people that will reread these documents that will actually go to these residences and pick it outside that bitch or something. I'm telling you, it'll get that damn dumb. When people will start standing outside these residences on some, we want Diddy gone. We want Diddy on some other shit, yo. On some complete other shit. What else we got down here? My neighbors are partying. And they have a sound system. Let's see what we got here. I've never been in Mr. Combs' houses. So this is all, like I said, the declaration from him. The false premises of the amended complaint that Motown Records, the parent company of Love Records. So What is this right here? I have never been in Mr. Combs' houses. Second, contrary to the unsupported allegations in the amended complaint, I have never been in Mr. Combs' house in L.A., Miami, or anywhere else, and I did not sponsor or attend any listening parties. Notice how he said he emphasized the listening parties. The quote listening parties at Mr. Combs' homes, as I have already said, as the chairman and CEO of a large public company with thousands of artists and writers, there is no way I could or would ever get involved in the what's this trying to say, in the minutiae of any individual agreement. So plaintiffs claim that he saw me at Combs' home. Plaintiffs claims that he saw me at a Combs' homes, uh, and that I disappeared for hours into Mr. Combs' bedroom. And oddly, the amended complaint makes the identical allegation as to Ms. Hebderm in identical words is completely false. And the allegation that I was aware that there were allegedly underage girls and sex workers being sexually exploited and applied with alcohol and drugs at these listening parties at Mr. Combs' house, and what plaintiff calls freak offs. Lucian is ticked. And allegedly being present, I had a duty to prevent these things from happening, are both offensive and completely false. I did not take lightly being falsely and publicly accused of. Yeah, he is pissed. And this is why I said this is going to open up the other avenues for the other CEOs to be on some, hey, I'm involved in none of this his bullshit. I'm telling you right now. All the other ones are going to start to come forth about because of this shit. I'm telling you right now, these Motown records are no UMG recordings provided or was responsible for providing security at Child's recordings. Trying to take themselves out the shooting, of course, right there. As you can tell, that is right there. Sex trafficking allegations are completely chronologically baseless, and completely false. Third amended complaint also accuses me personally, along with Ms. Barham, Montana Records. Yeah, shit going down. Trying to say be dismissed with prejudice. All right, we got to hit this next one here. What is this? Mary Ben declares as follows during time period. Blah, blah, blah. Not familiar with this person's declaration. What is this? Exclusive recording agreement. Okay, so this is okay. So that was his recording agreement, basically. What else we got here? Ethiopia's declaration. All right, so we don't necessarily get in this because it's the same thing as Lucian's, as well as she already said she would testify. So we don't necessarily have to get into hers, and we're gonna skip 4 because it wasn't really anything. This is just the him filing of Love Records. Of course, when he started it. And this was probably the most interesting thing to me, because I specifically put this article in the pod for Takeoff. Remember? Remember I put this article in the ad for Takeoff because I thought it was pretty odd that the same week that he decided to join Motown Records, the same exact week he decided to join Motown Records, was the same exact week, or should I say rejoin Motown Records, was the same exact week that we got Uncle and Few. So when we get Uncle and Few, and then months later we get, Takeoff passing, like I said, it was kind of interesting to me that I would hear that this was even in here. Because remember we pointed out also the ironic numerology of her stepping down in November 29th, literally 28 days after Takeoff passed, and Takeoff passed at 28 years old. That part stood out to me the most. He was 28 years old in Ethiopia, head of Motown Records at the time, steps down 28 days later. I be knowing what I'm talking about sometimes. And like I said, for this article to be in one of the exhibits speaks volumes to me. Considering, like I said, I used this very article to let y'all know what was going on with Motown Records in the first place with those life insurance policies. Remember that? I specifically mentioned to you guys and broke down the history of Motown Records and the insurance policies that they had for their artists. But, moving on. I don't want to get too far off topic. So, let's move on down to, I guess we got 7. And this is just Universal Music Group and its brands, of course. This is when he partnered with them. Here goes Ethiopia right there on the right, of course. There was something in here that I saw. There was something in here that stood out to me. One second. There was something in here that I remember reading. It caught my eye. I remember seeing something in here about Ken Masalis. And when I saw Ken Masalis' name, I immediately thought about Ben Masalis. Because if I see Ken Masalis, I have to think about Ben Masalis. And if I see I have to think about Ben Masalis, I think about the Donald Trump shooter. And everything he said. See how there's a link right there? What's it? 9 right here. Oh, okay. This is just back at the original person that Jaguar Wright. She said it. We wouldn't even be sitting here today. Talking about all this if it wasn't for Cassie. Oh, this is from the lawyer Tyrone Blackburn that represents Lucian. Because they didn't want to drop Lucian from the case. So Tyrone Blackburn is trying to get Lucian out of course, appearing in court at all. So this firm represents Universal Music Group, Motown Records, identified in the court. Okay, you can avoid Rule 11 motion only by withdrawing the complaint where admitted. Oh no, okay, dear Mr. Blackburn. Okay, so this was the lawyer talking back to Mr. Blackburn. I remember now. So they had an original posting of which I don't think it's up anymore, of Tyrone Blackburn, the lawyer for them. Let me see something real quick. Dear Mr. Blackburn, this from what are they trying to send to Tyrone Blackburn? Okay, yeah. This is basically lawyer versus lawyer. So they're trying to get Lucian Grange to not appear in court at all, and basically the other lawyer of Little Rods is basically saying, "Hey, man, all the shit we're saying, we have evidence to back up what we're saying. Okay, so we'll see you in court. I understand you want to get your guy out of this, but we have shit that sticks him kind of to the wall, and we're not backing down. And what we're trying to say right now to the judge is, hey, these people are harassing us, all right? These people are fucking harassing us and trying to get us to, you know, drop the case and dismiss it and not go to trial. And we're pretty much tired of it, Judge. Can you get these people off of our asses, please? It's basically what we're seeing right here with this document. That's why I want to go through the whole thing right here, because we kind of be here a little bit longer than we need to be if I had to read that entire thing right there. But yeah, man. Yeah, bet. Okay, so where are we at right here? Where are we at right here? So remember when I said about Lucian Grange? So I think uh, extortion possibly is going to be filed by Lucian coming soon, being that he did not know he was being recorded in Diddy's home. That's what I feel like. I feel like there's going to be some type of extortion coming soon. Or extortion lawsuit coming soon, I should say, on Lucian's behalf. And as you heard, he's going to be taking legal action against Lil Rod Bailey. So of course he's going to be doing the extortion countersuit to Lil Rod. Where were we? So we talked about Daphne being a sex worker. That has gotten 50 Cent into some, not hot water, but it's got him into some things. I'll say that. So Daphne took it upon herself to then say some incriminating things about Mr. 50 Cent. And I'm seeing if I can do this in chronological order here, because one thing led to another. Actually, no, we're not going to do chronological order because it has kind of got to be a mess. I'll just say that. Anyway, Daphne responded to 50 Cent and his trolling that he's been doing to Diddy. I wish I could big this up just a little bit. Screw it. I can't. Anyway, let me just move it over here to this one. I am deeply hurt by the lies in Rodney Jones' lawsuit. The claim that I am a sex worker is 100% false and character assassination. I am retaining an attorney to explore all legal remedies against both Rodney and his attorney. Everything is a joke. Curtis James Jackson. He's got my middle name. That's funny. Everything is a joke to you until our safety is compromised, which is happening now. You are wreaking real havoc, frenzy, and chaos onto people's lives. How would you feel if Sire was the one in handcuffs for nothing? We moved to New York to give you the opportunity to be a father to your son, and you saw him 10 times out of the 2 years that we lived 1 mile away from you. I am tired of upholding and protecting an image to our son that you have never even earned. Let's put the real focus on you, your true evil actions of raping me and physically abusing me. You are no longer my oppressor, and my God will handle you from this point on. You have permanently damaged the last hope I had for you as a father to preserve our family with these last and final false claims made against me. You have broken our hearts for the last and final time. Of course, 50 responds back in 50 fashion. I didn't know you was a sex worker. You little sex worker. Yo, this shit is a movie. 50 is not backing down. I think it was pretty damn funny with but he did earlier also in his Instagram. I don't know if I can still find it real quick. Oh, good. I'm not gonna. It doesn't want to play the music. Good, but it was. She worked hard for the money. She worked hard. What that song was about. It was about a sex worker, basically. So, uh, yeah, yeah. Like I said, 50 responded in only 50 Cent fashion. But another thing that ended up happening was Stevie J. Stevie J took it upon himself to respond to 50 Cent.
Curtis, what's good, man? You and your feelings about Daphne? Is she with gang them? Or is it that you sucking Lil Rod dick? However it go, I want you to fade, nigga. Fuck all that. Since it's entertainment, let me beat the shit out of you on TV or something. Don't duck that. I'm calling you out. What you want to do, Curtis? Curtis!
So, Stevie J basically took it upon himself to do some trolling. And I, for one, don't think he should be doing that with 50 Cent. Maybe he could fight, maybe he can't. But one thing you don't do is post a picture with someone that, is a family member of a very, very, very big enemy of mine. Not mine specifically, but 50 Cent. So we don't have to go over the history of Supreme McGriff and 50 Cent. But obviously, Stevie J has already done his research because he took it upon himself to take a picture and do a video with Supreme's son. Supreme, of course, is locked away. Supreme McGriff, you know my motto: 2 + 2 always equals 4. Up forever. So we don't have to read between the lines and what that means. Like I said, obviously Stevie J has done his research that he's doing a picture and video with Supreme's son. So I'll just give you a quick alleged summary of things. Allegedly, Supreme is the one that got 50 Cent shot in the first place and why 50 Cent took 9 rounds. Allegedly. Allegedly. So that is why Stevie J took it upon himself to once again troll 50 Cent back by taking a picture with Supreme's son. Like I said, now he's trying to make it so he does actually fight him. And I get where he's coming from with that. But like I said, you might be barking up the wrong tree with trying to have a picture and video with 50 Cent. I'm trying not to get lost here where we at. Like I said, there was so much shit to actually go over. So I guess let's go over someone else that said that they would testify, which we already kind of knew that he would testify. Where we at? Okay. Gene Deal. Gene Deal has some interesting words for Diddy on this matter recently. Not sure what my player's been doing that recently.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I know Mace, he spoke out about Diddy House getting raided. If you can, right, because he got the show with Cam, and a lot of people, they don't know about the history between Mace and Diddy. Let the people know how Diddy did him dirty, if you don't mind.
From what I know, I think that Diddy wasn't teaching Mace the business. You understand? He was using Mace as other artists to write rhymes on other people, write songs on other people's albums, on his album, and taking their talents and stealing their publishing on different albums and different records. Prime example, Mace wrote that Bad Boy joint. I ain't even see him at the premiere because I believe Diddy owned most of the publishing on that, which ended up being a big record that went over to movies. I think Mace was upset the fact that when he learned the business, he saw how Diddy had robbed him. He had took the glory for the albums, the music, and all the records that he had did. And he got pennies for it. You understand? 8,000 here, 10,000 there. You understand? When the record go platinum, Diddy's getting 200,000-300,000 and only gave him pennies for writing a song, getting points on publishing that he didn't even deserve. So Mace learning the business and knowing the business, it led him to be upset. Diddy was teaching him wrong. Like, Diddy was teaching him not to even speak to people, brother. You understand what I'm saying? Nate used to come up in there, yo, what's up, how you doing? He had that Harlem smile. You know what I mean? What I mean, like he happy, he's shining. Because, you know, he had a lot of jewels that the other artists didn't have. He used to come up in the studios, he used to come places fly.
Fresh.
Did he tell him, yo, you ain't gonna never be famous because you always speaking to people. Let them speak to you. I seen Mace stop speaking to people. When I told him, man, don't listen to that nigga with that old dumb shit. Be you.
Kind of
he
gave him a
found
Jew.
out after Big died and Puff left his ass out in California, he knew only Puff was for self. So Mace and them didn't have what these kids have now with the internet, with the YouTubes, to learn the business themselves or listen to somebody teach them the business and stuff to watch out for. It was word of mouth or somebody sitting you down or you hiring a lawyer back then to teach you what you're supposed to know by representing you. So Mace has every right to be upset with Diddy because Diddy really stole his legacy in the music. See, what you got to understand this is that a lot of those kids learned the business after they signed their contracts. They learned the business after they was in the business for 3 or 4 years. So now, when they learned the business and they was doing, sitting right there, writing a whole record, a whole song, right? And Diddy was like, yeah. Here, take this, take that. Give him 10,000 for that one song that they wrote. And that song goes platinum 2 or 3 times. And he get the 25% for being the writer on that because they wrote the song and gave it to him. And he's on as the publisher, as the writer. You understand what I'm saying?
And that's why Gene said what he
He's
said.
getting a percentage of the writing that was done, and all he gave was 10,000. They learned they learned later in the business that they was do that publishing. He shouldn't have got the percentage that he got on there. Because he gave them 10,000, 5,000, 8,000 for writing it. So now they learned the business late. And when they learned the business, they seen how wrong that he was doing them. Even though the music people want you to say, well, we're taking a chance, we're taking a thing. Yo, listen to me, man. You wouldn't be there if you think that you wasn't talented and they could sell records off you and using your talents. They've seen enough people to come through. So you writing all those hits and you not getting the money from them. How many years Mace didn't get the money from Bad Boy, that shit that they use on Will Smith and them Bad Boys? I went to the premiere with Puff. Mace wasn't even there. But he wrote that.
Speaking of Mace, Mace is kind of happy right now. As he should be. He's very happy right now, actually.
Hey, how you doing?
Killer, I'm doing good, man. Reparations is getting closer and closer. I'll be sure to give you your percentage.
That was a hot bar right there. I'll be sure to give you your percentage. I'll be sure to give you your percentage.
Had nothing to do with that money. That's all yours, man. I was on the next boat. Yeah, man.
Oh, man.
Closer and closer,
Closer
man.
and closer.
Okay.
The big payback.
This has been the last year. Has really kind of been the big payback for you, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You kind of last week. You went Destiny.
Yeah.
You done Destiny.
Yeah. And like I said, that is mainly because and I said this before, Mace, everyone says that Cassie was the one that broke this shit. I think Mace was the one that broke all this shit open. Because he was the one that broke open the TD Jake shit. And of course, Diddy has not been officially charged in anything. But like I said, that doesn't say that he's not gonna be charged in anything. And as I said before, there's quite a few people that are willing to testify. And let it be known what's going to be happening. And let it be known that they're going to be telling what's been happening with Diddy and his whole organization.
You think it's possible that Cassie will help the feds bring Diddy down? Because I know her lawyer came out making a comment saying that, they don't got no problem helping the feds.
She gonna have to. Because she made statements. So then they will subpoena her. If you don't go to court after you being subpoenaed, they can lock you up for the life of the trial. Or she could become a non-compliant witness, whereas that a hostile witness, where she say, I revoke my constitutional right and don't say nothing. I invoke my constitutional right, you know what I'm saying, and don't say nothing. She could do that. But she has to answer the subpoena. And I don't think she's going to sit down and go to court or go to jail for Diddy. You understand? If she is subpoenaed to come in there and speak on what happened to her, I believe she would do it. So Cassie, yeah. Even if they call me about the abuse with Kim, they say, yo, Gene, did you see him beat Kim? I said, on that particular case, no. Have I seen him rough Kim up and use the pillow? They he liked to play fight and be hurting the girls while he play fight. Have I seen him do that? Yeah, I've seen him done that. You understand? And I've asked Kim, you all right? You good? Y'all good? And she just look and stuff. He'll stop. You know what I'm saying? Because I was like a big uncle one time. So now, when he get to the hospital, his right wrist is ripped open. So, Mr. Dill, when you got to the hospital, what happened? Well, I seen his wrist ripped up. I would testify that I seen his wrist wrapped up in a T-shirt, and he said it right there in front of Kim. You know what I'm saying? That you could have killed him because she hit an artery. You understand? And I would tell how I saw how Kim looked, and I would testify to everything if I was told to. If I was brought in to testify against that. You understand? I'm not gonna sit there and wait in jail for him. Nah, I wouldn't do that.
So you don't have no problem testifying?
I have no problem sitting in the court of law, doing my due diligence, and testifying on stuff that I already spoke of on the internet. When I talked about him abusing Kim and she had to cut his wrist to get him off of him, I would tell what I saw when I went to the hospital. I have no problem. I don't care what nobody say. I don't care what nobody think. If I've already said it on the internet, if I've already said it on different platforms and programs, why wouldn't I? I have no problem with saying the relationship with him and Keefe D. I have no problem in saying that he went to Suge Knight and asked Suge Knight, are we good out here? When Pac was right behind Suge, Suge had a red Bentley, Rolls Royce Bentley. Pac had the white one in the back of the House of Blues. I have no problem in saying that I told him if we go out this house, somebody gonna die tonight. And the Notorious Big came up dead. I have no problem in saying what I've been saying for years, since 97. If I'm brought into a court of law to testify on things that they want to ask me regarding his character or anything that I've displayed out here.
So with that being said, right? With that being said, you have to understand that there's people that have been waiting to testify for years on these type of things and just been waiting with information that they've been scared to speak out on. People have been scared to speak out on this stuff for years because of the power that he actually has, or had, I should say, at this point. You know, and because of that, you have people like, for example, Fat Joe. who, to me, went on a compilation of I ain't touching that with a 10-foot pole. That was pretty intriguing to me.
We know
our guy Diddy is currently in the news crazy. And so he would have been one of those guys. But right now he's dealing with something. When you see what you see, somebody that we've worked with in the industry for a long time going through what Diddy's going through right now.
What I can say in the most respectful way is I don't know all the details, but I've been praying for him and his family, and he's my friend for 30 years. And so I'm never, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just see what the outcome is, and I'm praying that the best thing for him and his family and everybody involved. So I'm not disrespecting nobody, but I'm just praying for this whole situation, this nightmare. I'm praying it goes away.
We've talked about it from the obviously.
Yeah, but bro, let's move on from that, man. You got that. You're the only person who got Fat Joe to say that, right? Let's move on.
I understand. It's not.
It's uncomfortable.
Never in the history of radio or any interview, you heard Fat Joe himself just say it. Never in the history has anyone ever got Fat Joe to not speak on something. Fat Joe has been, what we call him now, Jopra. Fat Joe has been avoiding this shit for quite some time now. He didn't say nothing about the Cassie thing. He didn't say nothing about the little. He didn't say nothing about none of these allegations. And I, for one, think I think I'm gonna put that inside the Jay-Z doc too. By the way, I think real reason why Joe don't want to say nothing because he might have some information. He might have some things. He might know some things. See, Joe is not necessarily one to be in the limelight either. He never was that big in the limelight except for Lean Back, right? He's always been trying to catch him to lean back. Can't. But Joe was giving some money. What if it has something to do with Put? So I would say, being that him and Jay had beef. Jay and Pun had beef. And Jay got hit over the head with Pun. We don't get into that. Anyway, yeah. Fat Joe doesn't really want to say much about Diddy. And it's very evident that you would like I said, if you was his homie, praying for him, your friend for 30 years, why aren't you saying, I ain't never seen none of that, I ain't never been none of that, nah. You just saying, I'll just pray for him.
It's not a pleasant subject.
It's uncomfortable. Now, you're on a political thing. You're at Joe Biden.
Like, I'll never be white again. Oh, my God, the compliments I'm getting. This is amazing. Like, that's what this is about.
I love it. You know who may need this?
Who?
Diddy. His hair may go white.
Yeah.
I know that you guys are somewhat friendly.
No. I didn't say no. Yeah. I know Diddy 30 years. I'm just praying. It's a very sad situation. I don't know enough about it. That's as far as I could go. I stood up last night, maybe 4 hours, praying for him and his kids. His kids, I know them all their life. So, I'm just praying for everybody.
Have you had a chance to talk to him at all since this has been?
Nah, very sad occasion.
What about
I know what you guys know.
Yeah.
Now it seems like there's so much.
We're gonna skip Tyrese. Actually, no, we shouldn't skip Tyrese. So I want y'all to hear Tyrese real quick. Tyrese said something very interesting that I thought was pretty funny, and once again, no one wants to touch this shit with a 10-foot pole. It is kind of funny that everybody is kind of copping a plea against this shit. In a sense.
It's our time.
Occasion,
what about
I know what you guys know.
Yeah.
Now it seems like there's so much shit coming across our timelines that we just don't care anymore. We don't care. So I don't want anyone to confuse me last night before I went to sleep, I was praying. I found myself praying for Diddy's kids. I was thinking about Justin and Christian Combs and thinking about the twins who go to school with my daughter. My daughter and his twins have been at pretty much every birthday party. And then I'm just thinking to myself, see, a lot of people will go after Diddy, beat him down for whatever he's either did or being accused of, allegedly. And then it's all about him, right? And I was thinking about the family. I was thinking about the kids. I was thinking about the stress of yesterday. I went home and all of a sudden I'm in handcuffs at the house. It's just trying my best to see things through the lens of the kids, not just him specifically. And then I wanted him to know, irregardless of what he's being accused of and going through, as Minister Louis Farrakhan said, when a man is down, don't laugh at him. Don't make a mockery of him. Don't beat him down. Don't beat him down with your words. You don't have to agree with what somebody did. You don't have to even want to be associated with what somebody did. But everybody deserves prayer.
I don't want to see a black man who came so far, almost to $1 billion, fall down. That's our inspiration for it ain't too many of us. I don't want to see they took Kanye down. We forgot about Kanye. And the good thing he able to.
I like how Slim Thug took it upon himself to throw up his little signs. Just to emphasize that he took it upon himself to throw up his sign in front of his eye. You saw that?
Do his own, man. That's how I look at it, man. We losing another billionaire over allegations at this point. Still ain't no criminal charges. You know what I'm saying? We only got about 1 billionaire left. Who? Jay-Z? That's the only motherfucker left. Everybody else. Let's take the person off of it and who that person is, right? Man, listen. Look at who is wishing this dude fail. You know what I'm saying? It's his own people. It's his own people cheering him, laughing, and Diddy did it and coming up with new slogans for him. It's his own people, man. Like, so take note of this. Man, you would think the motherfucker, he thought a year or two ago when we were popping Ciroc, he thought that we would ride or die for him, man. Like, he thought that the motherfucking world of hip hop would stay down and over, you know, especially without him having a case. Like, especially without him having a case, he would think, hey, man, motherfucker, they gonna ride for me. I live for this hip hop shit. I lived and died this shit. The hip hop community is gonna ride for my innocence. He would assume, I'm sure. Say if he did that, then whatever he get. But so far, I haven't seen no criminal charges. So out for that, I'ma just sit back and hope for the best, you know?
And with that being said, so, and I thought what was funny about Tyrese was that he's like, I'm gonna turn the blinds. It's like, turn the blinds. I'm gonna turn the blinds on this one. Basically, being he's gonna just, you know, not gonna look. We just gonna wait till this goes away. Hopefully, I don't get brought up in this shit no more. You know, I'm praying for the man. But once again, none of these people are saying I never saw none of this shit, right? None of these people want to say, yo, I never saw Puff do none of that other shit, none of that gay shit, no sex trafficking. I'm not, nobody's standing up for him saying that. Pat Joe ain't want to say nothing. Tyrese ain't want to say nothing. All Slim Thug sound like he under a rock. Slim Thug sound like he under a rock. Because you started to say, let's take away from all that, right? Take away from all the allegations, right? Let's talk personal, who he is. If you want to talk about who he is, Slim Thug, you are a parent. Are you not? And Slim Thug, if you are a parent, you would be, you know, on the side of the parents that are saying, why would he leave his children there to hang in a raid? Would you have left your children to hang in a raid? Or would you have shown up? Would you have been there for your children in that raid? That one question right there we have for you, Slim Thug. I'm pretty sure the answer is simple. Yes, you would be there for your children. So the question there is, why are you trying to defend a gentleman that was not? Why are you defending a man that has been accused of all of these things that are allegedly seeming to be true? There is more fact than fiction going around with all these things. Speaking of which, as I said before, people are wondering why no one wants to speak up for the gentleman. I, for one, want to know that. Why is no one coming forth with anything to say? Anything positive to say at that? Not even negative. Why nobody positive coming up with anything? You know what I mean?
Bro, you got it until you got it.
You know how long I've been doing this shit?
Yeah, I know.
God got me here for a reason. I'm like an immortal motherfucker.
Hey, that's what I said.
You know all the
Shout
shit
out to
I done been through.
I told you that. You done did enough for 5
You know how long I've been getting tore up in the club?
You done did
Since
enough
97, 98. Where you was in 98, 97?
Man, watching Dragon Ball Z. We're trying to find Dragon Ball Z pictures on the internet.
Where the you was? Nigga, I was in Vibes.
Playing PlayStation.
I was in Vibes on Super Sad on the neck throwing foes, man. Come on, man.
Well, I'm trying to beat that boy on
Throwing up in the club off Hennessy.
I'm trying to beat
And what that was? Man, what? Alizé. You wouldn't even off the poach when they was drinking Alizé.
So, I know what it is.
When Tupac was talking about
Thug Passion.
Alizé, 97, 98.
Hennessy and Alizé was Thug
98,
Passion.
I was in the club on the neck throwing foes with a deuce in my back pocket.
Man, in 98, nigga, I was watching Cant Chicken, Johnny Bravo, goddamn Iron Weasel, Dragon Ball Z. Yeah, bro.
Nigga, I know what I'm doing. Nigga, you talking to I'm a triple OG. Where you was in 98? Answer that. I was selling.
I'm 33 now. I turned 34 this year.
I been that man. I got this shit. Just had I went too hard. Man, I went hard last night. I ain't with no Mexicans. I ain't drank with no Mexicans no more.
No. They don't got no
I ain't drinking.
tolerance.
I ain't drinking with no Mexicans no more. That's it. I'm done. I ain't sitting by him no more. That's it. Got a permit to prove when he drank.
You cannot get more drunk than me.
Man.
How them Africans did fish, bro.
I ain't with the Mexicans no more. I ain't drinking no tequila. Boy, that was the best game of the season last night. This was the best game of the season last night. Game winner, that boy had 40 something, man.
He was still swimming your dad.
98. Where y'all was in 98?
Man, I was here.
Nigga, 98. I had a pocket full of money, nigga. A bankroll.
I was waiting on Pop to pull up with the PlayStation joystick. I'm ready to play the game, man. I'm waiting on Pops.
Y'all get out my motherfucking thing. I don't want to hear no fucking Diddy shit on my live. You go on Diddy people live. His son finna go live, they say. Go on his son live. Don't come on my live with no Diddy shit.
Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah, man. Hey,
They gonna go with that line for the rest of.
Bro, I hate when people I know send me memes about you like I'm not right here or I don't know what's going on.
Boy, they on that P. Diddy line on White Man out.
Come on, fool.
Every time I go in my comments, number laughing emojis.
So you hooked up with P. Diddy, huh?
Talk about Boosie. Boosie, you gotta do a remix and change it. I ain't never seen so many black happy for a nigga downfall. Man, I don't see no white in my comments doing that. I ain't never seen so many black people happy for a nigga downfall. I don't hear none of them who was at Diddy's shit, toasting with that champagne every year, having speeches with, man, ain't nobody speak up for this man or nothing.
As soon as they say something,
When you're on top of the world, it's a celebration. When you're on the bottom, it's a denilation.
bro, the same motherfucker you see going up, you gonna see coming down.
All them motherfuckers, all with them suits on, with their cups up, ain't nobody said nothing.
They ain't, fool. Man, as soon as they say something, they in the crosshair, fool.
Boy, this world, boy.
As soon as they say something.
This world, boy.
So you was around Diddy too. Man, fool, they finding pictures of everybody with Diddy, fool.
This world fucked up, bro. I had to learn that.
I ain't even gonna lie, fool.
I had to learn that.
Man, they let Jeffrey Epstein get away with it, bro. They don't Diddy ass, though.
Make it make sense, though, bro. Like, come on, man. All y'all motherfuckers used to have them champagne glasses up with them suits on for all these brunches and all this shit. Nobody got nothing nice to say. All these colleges got millions from this man. Ain't nobody got nothing nice to say. Shit.
I feel like Ball and G was the only one to get away from
these still allegations.
Alleged
conviction. These allegations. These
bitches sticking though.
I'm telling you, this shit crazy. I learned that, bro. When you go down, motherfucker, that's why you ain't gonna see too many around me. Who was around me before I went to jail? You don't see too many around me. Cause them niggas did me like Diddy people. You don't see too many niggas around me. You see him right here. Yeah, you see him right here. He was on the chart with me. Yeah, you see him. Yeah. Yeah.
I told him, man, the first time I seen him, he knocked the nigga off his feet. That's my first time ever meeting, bro.
I'm just saying, though, all them damn friends he used to have all these years, these athletes, these entertainers, entrepreneurs, putting their glasses up with him, toasting, listening to his speeches.
They probably knew, bro. They probably knew. But now that the shit done hit the fan, ain't nobody trying to say nothing for that nigga defense, bro.
Damn, but if you're a friend, you're a friend, G.
Yeah, thanks.
A friend, you're a friend. It's still allegations.
Until the facts come out.
But a friend is a friend. A friend is a friend. A friend with you right or what?
Wrong.
Or wrong.
They ain't checking on him. Nah, real shit. Let alone at all.
A friend is a friend, bro. None of them wasn't his friend.
Words don't get to you when it come down to your friend. You don't worry about what a nigga said about your friend. But that's real shit, though. That shit gonna have to come out. It's gonna come out.
You still hug your friend. Even if you knew what was going on, a friend is a friend.
Yeah.
Niggas too busy being his friend behind.
You know what I'm saying? That's kind of,
Wanted what they can have.
I was gonna say that's kind of on their character though. You know what I'm saying?
Them was bad, bro.
They wasn't really friends, bro. They was around.
That's the truth. That's the motherfucking truth. A friend is a friend. But it appears to me that Diddy ain't got no more friends. Not with this situation. Ain't nobody trying to even go around this shit right here. Speaking of which, the feds have subpoenaed multiple companies after the Miami, L.A. raids. It appears that the raids on Diddy's homes are just the start of feds issuing subpoenas, it seems. Oh boy. The feds are issuing subpoenas to companies doing business with him, aiming to identify anyone with info pertinent to the sex trafficking probe. Sources with direct knowledge tell TMZ subpoenas, all bearing Diddy's real name, Sean Combs, were sent this week to various providers tied to the rapper, including his private charter jet, phone providers, and computer companies. As seen here when he apprehended Brennan Paul, there's Diddy. And of course, as we said before, there are no charges yet brought up on Diddy. There are no actual physical charges on Diddy yet. So, yeah, as you can see, they're holding him, but they can't arrest him. We're told the subpoenas were fired off by the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, which, as we've reported, is running the investigation. Our sources say subpoenas will also be issued to commercial airlines and possibly the FAA, just in case Diddy opted for commercial flights instead of his private jet. As we reported, the Fed's goal here is finding out who flew on Diddy's dime and where they went. They're not only looking for alleged victims, but also any potential witnesses who could support or dispute allegations of human sex trafficking. It'll be particularly intriguing to see if people who sued Diddy were on those planes. What's more, we're told the subpoenas will enable feds to gather more intel about the nature of Diddy's involvement with those various businesses. Goes without saying, this is a crucial aspect of the federal investigation, which began with raids on Diddy's LA and Miami homes Monday. We've been told the feds have already interviewed several people connected to the lawsuits filed against Diddy. Wow, they view him here with Jennifer Lopez. I'm not sure who this lady is here, but see Drew Barrymore and, of course, Cassie. I said Drew Barrymore. Cameron Diaz. And who's this young lady right here? No. Sarah Chapman. Okay. Going to take some time for the authorities to determine whether or not they're... Okay, so other things that have been happening with Diddy is the mortgage. So it was released, his New York Post, New York Post. Sean Diddy Combs owes nearly $100 million in mortgages on luxury LA Miami mansions, rated by the report. Sean Diddy Combs owes nearly $100 million in mortgage payments on a trio of mansions in LA and Miami that were rated by federal agents this week. According to a report, the embattled rapper took out 8 bank loans totaling a whopping of $140 million to pay for the sprawling properties, the Daily Mail reported. The Department of Homeland Security, searched the homes on Monday as authorities investigated a range of allegations, including sex trafficking against the 54-year-old music mogul, who Forbes estimates to be worth roughly $1 billion. Combs bought his LA home, located in the elite Homely Hills neighborhood, for $39 million in August 2014, according to the Daily Mail. The estate includes 8 bedrooms, 11 bathrooms, and underwater swimming tunnel. Heard what that said, right? 11 bathrooms in an underwater swimming tunnel. Interesting. To fund the elaborate property, he took out the 2 mortgages from the Bank of America, each for $35 million in 2014 and May 2021. The outlet reported neither appears to have been paid off. The former mortgage is due to be paid off in full in 2029, and the latter in May 2036. In addition to the LA pad, he also purchased 2 neighboring mansions on Miami Beach's exclusive Star Island. For one of the Miami properties, a 9-bedroom, 12-bathroom. That's the one he got from Tommy Mottola. I think the other one was from Clive. Let's see here. So, got roughly $97.5 million remains in outstanding. The music mogul likely has other properties throughout the country. Diddy has not been charged with any crimes amid the ongoing investigations. An officer with the Department of Homeland Security told the Post the case has been active for several weeks, and authorities believe that there is a disturbing history of sex trafficking, said the Miami-based officer, who spoke under condition of anonymity. At least 4 Jane Does and 1 John Doe have been interviewed, by New York prosecutors in connection to sex trafficking allegations and a RICO case. Once again, mentions of that RICO. And of course, here we have some of those documents. Let's see here. What was the main one I saw here? And of course, these documents, you can't really see anything too tough. Even if we were to zoom in, these aren't really too much. You can see what you can see: Sean Combs, Bad Boy Entertainment, Bad Boy Records, Epic. Like I said, it's public information, of course. The actual mortgage documents that are here for him, but some of them didn't actually include his name, which was interesting. You just saw like Bad Boy Records, or you would see like something like Christina Cornwall on there. But you wouldn't really see his name per se on here, which was interesting and more of a test to what Mace was saying, that a lot of the properties and a lot of the receipts and things like that are just not in his name at all, which I found pretty interesting as well. A little bit of other things that are happening with him. You have the the electronics that got seized as well. Electronics were seized. This is from ABC 7. Electronics were seized during search for Sean Diddy Combs' properties. Says from New York 7 again, federal agents with Homeland Security investigation seized a number of electronic devices as part of the court authorized searches of 2 properties associated with Sean Diddy Combs. Law enforcement sources told ABC News on Tuesday the searches carried out in L.A. and Miami on Monday were part of a federal sex trafficking investigation into the hip-hop liquor mogul. Sources said HSI agents flooded Diddy's L.A. mansion and gathered evidence as part of an investigation led by prosecutors with the Southern District of New York. Chopper video from above showed SWAT teams and federal agents with long guns while Combs' 2 sons were in handcuffs. On Tuesday, pictures captured Combs' Love Air jet at the VC Bird International Airport in Antigua. He's in Bermuda too? Well, shit, he been moving. Diddy San Diego been moving around. While no arrests have been made, a federal investigation has been underway for several months. While no arrests have been made, a federal investigation has been underway for several months. Really? Oh, so they have been looking into this since Cassie. In November, December. Yeah, November, December, January, February, March. Oh, shit. They've been looking at this nigga since like July. August, excuse me. They've been looking into him since like August, September. Oh, shit. They said this has been an investigation for several months. 4 women have filed civil lawsuits against Combs, accusing him of rape, sex trafficking, and other alleged abuses. Several women have spoken. Yeah, we know about that part. Enough is enough, he said in a social media post. Okay, we know about that part as well. I said Ben and Ken Masalis, like I said, they stood out to me, those names before. Where was I? Oh yeah. They trashed the home. They pretty much trashed the home with the raid. Look at it, taking out wiring, security. They were searching all through the panelings and everything. They went through the office. Yeah, they pulled 0 punches when it came to this right here. They are comparing this right now to the R. Kelly trial. That's what word is right now. Even the R. Kelly prosecutor herself had to speak on that they are comparing this to the R. Kelly trial. It's getting that serious, guys.
Sean Diddy Combs can't seem to escape the spotlight right now, and the federal investigation into any connections to an alleged sex trafficking operation is creating comparisons to other infamous figures like Jeffrey Epstein and R. Kelly. Nadia Shihata was the prosecutor who helped put R. Kelly behind bars for decades. She joins us to talk about the investigation into Combs, what could come next, and the comparisons to that infamous R. Kelly case. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. Sean Combs, known by many as Diddy, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, and I think there's probably more names, could soon face arrest. This comes after raids were conducted on Diddy's homes in L.A. and Miami by Homeland Security. It's been reported that this is pursuant to an ongoing investigation from the Southern District of New York. Now, it's been reported that this is concerning human trafficking. Human trafficking, generally speaking, is when you exploiting somebody for labor or services or commercial sex. More specifically, if we're talking about sex trafficking, it's the recruiting, the transporting, the soliciting someone for the purposes of commercial sex acts. And it's usually through the use of force or fraud or coercion. The person is a minor under 18 years old. Now, we have been following all of the updates very closely here on Sidebar when it comes to the Diddy case. And so far, the details about the search and the investigation are pretty bare bones. As of now, it's reported that the agents removed items like electronics and firearms. Sources say the focus of the investigation is, again, we still believe it could be connected to human trafficking. It could be connected to narcotics or firearms. I will tell you, though, Combs' attorney, Aaron Dyer, released a statement after these raids saying in part, quote, "There was a gross overuse of military-level force as search warrants were executed at Mr. Combs' residences. This unprecedented ambush, paired with an advanced coordinated media presence, leads to a premature rush to judgment of Mr. Combs and is nothing more than a witch hunt based on meritless accusations made in civil lawsuits." Now, I should be clear, Combs has never been arrested or criminally charged in connection with any sort of trafficking or abuse. But of course, this comes on the heels of major lawsuits that were filed against the music mogul, with the bombshell filing from Combs' ex-girlfriend and Bad Boy Entertainment recording artist Cassie Ventura. That was the one that possibly blew up everything wide open, because Ventura alleged that Combs physically and sexually abused her, including forcing her into sexual slavery and sex trafficking. Some of the more alarming allegations in the federal lawsuit included Combs allegedly raping Ventura in her home after she tried to leave him, savagely beating her, resulting in bruises and burst lips, forcing her to have sex with prostitutes on video while he watched and pleasured himself, forced her to carry a gun for him, tried to chase down music producer Suge Knight with a gun, and she also alleges that he blew up rapper Kid Cudi's car because he found out that Cudi was interested in Ventura. Now, Combs settled that lawsuit one day after it was filed, but then we saw more lawsuits coming out. In fact, there was another lawsuit that was filed by producer Lil Rod Jones, Rodney Jones, and it was not long after Cassie's, and it accuses Combs of sexual abuse and harassment, violations of the human trafficking statute, gun and drug possession, being involved in shootings, having parties with sex workers and underage girls, and it goes on and on and on. I'll also highlight that. It even says Cuba Gooding Jr. sexually assaulted him on Diddy's yacht. Now, actually, the man that Jones called out in this lawsuit for being Combs' drug mule, the man that allegedly supplied drugs and weapons to Combs, he was actually arrested the same day the raids happened. His name's Brendan Paul, was arrested by Miami-Dade police at the airport on Monday, and police body cam video shows him being loaded into a patrol car.
Put him in the car.
Now, since the news of these raids, comparisons have been made between Combs and Robert Kelly, more often known as R. Kelly. Both highly successful music artists, rose to fame in the 1990s. They even did a song together called Satisfy You. And accusations of misconduct and illicit activity with underage girls, They dogged R. Kelly for years, with one of the earliest civil lawsuits being filed in 1996, when a woman stated that when she was 15 years old, R. Kelly, who was 24, not only had sex with her, but also encouraged her to bring her young friends to see him. And of course, Kelly's relationship with R&B sensation Aaliyah has long been scrutinized. Kelly married Aaliyah when she was 15. He was 27 after allegedly having sexual contact with her for years leading up to the marriage. It was ultimately annulled. And we know that in the end, Kelly was convicted. He was convicted of child pornography, racketeering, and yes, sex trafficking charges in 2 states, multiple cases, sentenced to 31 years in prison. Well, with that in mind, I am joined by Nadia Shihata. She is one of the New York prosecutors on the R. Kelly case, one of the people who helped put him away. She is now a criminal defense attorney. Nadia, so good to have you on here, Sidebar. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you for having me.
What is your reaction to the Diddy case, the Diddy raids?
Well, I think it's a significant development in the case. Obviously, he's presumed innocent. No charges have been filed against him. But when you take a step like executing search warrants so publicly at 2 different locations, it means you have amassed significant evidence. You've got probable cause to believe a crime has been committed, which is the same standard for arrest. So it's significant. Now, obviously, as a federal prosecutor, you want to make sure you have proof beyond a reasonable doubt when you charge a case. So they're continuing to investigate, but it's certainly a significant step.
I am starting to believe. First, I was saying maybe it's surprising that they didn't have arrests in conjunction with the raid or an indictment in conjunction with the raid. And then I started thinking, well, they obviously had probable cause. Perhaps they were speaking with people, but they needed more evidence on those properties. Perhaps before there was an allegation, maybe before it was destroyed, they want to preserve it. They want to get that evidence. They might be issuing subpoenas to people. I think that now I'm wondering if we may not see potential criminal charges for a while, because it also might have to be submitted to a grand jury too, right? So we shouldn't expect perhaps charges against Diddy maybe for a little bit.
Absolutely. Look, if they're following kind of the playbook we used in R. Kelly and pursuing similar charges as we did in that case, these types of cases, take a little bit of time to investigate and to make sure you're corroborating all the victim testimony you're getting. You want phone records, you want travel records. There's all sorts of corroboration that you're sending out subpoenas for, that you're speaking to people about, and then also conducting searches to help with that.
What did you think of the fact, criticism from Diddy's lawyer that this was an excessive military-style use of force? What's your take on that?
Look, it did appear that there were some kind of military vehicles used. As prosecutors, you're not kind of calling the shots on how agents operationally conduct a search. My guess is, giving them the benefit of the doubt, that there were allegations that there were firearms in the property. It's a very large property, and Diddy likely had security with firearms. So they have to secure the location and they have to ensure the safety of everyone conducting the search. So, sometimes they err on the side of using as much firepower as possible in those circumstances.
Yeah, especially given the allegations and the lawsuits, which makes me wonder, do you think the lawsuits are what precipitated this? Do you think the people who are accusing Diddy of wrongdoing are the ones who might be cooperating witnesses and what set this ball rolling?
I think it's very possible that the public filing of that first lawsuit came to the attention of federal agents and prosecutors and may have sparked this. And then obviously the follow-on lawsuits, once that first lawsuit was public, have only added to the allegations. And as a prosecutor, you might start with the people who have made allegations publicly in a lawsuit, but I don't think they're going to stop there by any means. That's just the beginning. And then you're investigating, you're talking to more people. Other victims may be coming forward who have not been public at all now that they're seeing that this is a serious investigation. So it's a starting point.
So obviously this is very serious subject matter that we're dealing with right now, but I do want to take a detour for a quick second. Look, you guys should know how much we love producing these videos for you, telling these stories. And the truth is, we're really able to do this because of the support that we get from our awesome sponsors. And I just want to call one out right now for you, Sheath Underwear. I'm excited.
All right. Anyway, Need to move that forward because, yeah.
Part of a very infamous prosecution of a very infamous individual. Do you see similarities between the Combs case? Let me rephrase. Combs hasn't been charged, but do you see similarities if we're talking about potential sex trafficking charges? You know what the allegations are right now against Mr. Combs. Do you see similarities between him and R. Kelly?
Look, every case is different, obviously, but there do appear to be some similarities based on the public allegations that have been made. For example, the allegations about forcing individuals to have sex with others for the pleasure of Diddy in this circumstance. There were similar allegations with R. Kelly, and that he recorded that activity. So it's a pretty striking similarity in that sense.
But also the level of influence and power, right? I mean, a big part of it when I'm reading the lawsuits is just, you surround yourself with this team, you have tremendous wealth, access, this lifestyle. It was eerily reminiscent of what we were hearing from Kelly, right?
Absolutely. I mean, when you reach a certain level of fame and you've got a group of people around you that are literally there to help you with whatever whim you have, legal or illegal, and are getting paid to do so, and are, more than happy to turn a blind eye to whatever else may be going on. That's a very big similarity. Again, these are just allegations at this point against Mr. Combs, but yes.
And yeah, he hasn't been criminally charged. So when his lawyer says there's been no criminal liability, no civil liability, he's exactly right. Those lawsuits are still pending. The lawsuit with Cassie Ventura was settled. At the time of this recording, Sean Combs has not been criminally charged in any way. Want to make that clear. But I always thought it was interesting when you think about how the Kelly criminal prosecution began, how it started. It wasn't, would you say it was from the documentary that was released that kind of got the ball rolling? Because again, you wonder, what is the thing that gets going? With Harvey Weinstein, it was that New York Times article. With R. Kelly, it was a really damaging documentary. Maybe that was what you could say started the ball rolling. Here with Combs, maybe it was these lawsuits. I find it so interesting, the similarities with what begins a criminal investigation.
Yeah, look, in R. Kelly, there's no doubt that the documentary and the public airing of allegations certainly came to the attention of law enforcement, and we began looking into it. But again, in all of these cases, that's just the starting point. To bring a federal criminal prosecution, you really have to amass credible evidence that you can prove the case beyond a reasonable doubt. But the public airing of such information against well-known people, that does get investigations started. There's no doubt about that.
What was it like prosecuting R. Kelly?
We tried to, as best we could, approach it as we would any other important case that we prosecuted. Obviously, there was a lot of media attention to it, and R. Kelly fans. I would say the biggest thing that could have potentially affected the case was a lot of our victims received a lot of harassment on social media and so forth. And that takes a toll on people and certainly makes them hesitant to want to move forward with a case.
When you were first prosecuting him, did you see a lot of people coming to R. Kelly's defense? Because at this time, I don't know if I'm seeing that so much with Diddy. Actually, what we're seeing is a lot of videos coming out from years ago that are looked at in a different context. You see high-profile celebrities who are making these comments, these innuendos about him. I don't see a ton of defense for Diddy. When you were first going after Kelly, I mean, was there a ton of? Were you yourself receiving any backlash, any threats? Was there a lot of support for him?
It wasn't support from kind of public, well-known figures, but he had a lot of kind of just regular fan support that would post on social media, YouTube channels, send emails, mostly to victims, not to the prosecutors. But we did receive, some of our own kind of threats and such.
That's so disappointing to hear. So if this is a case where Diddy is ultimately arrested, ultimately charged, federal prosecutors, what advice would you give them prosecuting a well-known figure like Diddy?
I would tell them to put their heads down and pursue it as they would any other case. Try to block out all the noise and just build your case step by step, put all the pieces of the puzzle together. And, if it's reportedly the Southern District of New York, those are very good prosecutors, and that's what I would expect them to do.
And how do you prove it? What do you have to show in a sex trafficking related case? What do you have to prove to make that conviction?
Yeah, so it depends exactly how they're pursuing this. If they do it through a RICO, which I suspect they're probably looking into, they're going to need to show an enterprise, so an inner circle, a group that helps him facilitate a pattern of criminal activity. And then that pattern can include things like forced labor or sex trafficking. The sex trafficking here could be, transporting people via his private plane or otherwise to commit commercial sex. And commercial sex doesn't necessarily have to mean, paying money, but also receiving anything of value. So he's making videos of this activity. That could be a thing of value as well. So, and using force or fraud or coercion to do that. And so abusing victims, putting them in humiliating situations,
Right.
that can all be part of that.
Or promising them money or something of value and then not delivering it. That would classify it as well.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So, and what would be the challenges that prosecutors would face? Legal challenges. How would someone in Diddy's position, or if someone was arrested, someone else in connection with this, how do they defend it? What kind of arguments would you expect from the defense that you would have to fight back on?
Yeah, if they pursue RICO charges, I imagine a defense would be that there was no criminal enterprise, that this, to the extent there was criminal activity, this was one person acting alone. And if it's not RICO, a lot of it would potentially fall outside of the statute of limitations. So the advantage of RICO is it lets you go kind of decades potentially in the past, and also it expands venue. So you can charge criminal activity that occurred not just in the Southern District of New York, but throughout the country. If that's taken away, that would be a big hit to the scope of any criminal indictment.
Let's talk about RICO in 1 second, because I have something interesting to ask you about that with respect to R. Kelly. Before we get to that, there is the idea that the whole week began. Is Diddy here? Is he in another country? Would he have to be extradited? I don't believe he's in another country. If you ask me, I think he's here. But having said that, let's say hypothetically he was in another country. What would be some ways prosecutors could go to legally get him back here for a prosecution, or maybe, put some pressure on him, would it be putting pressure on his family members, associates, charging them? Would it be any seizing bank accounts, freezing bank accounts, any way to get a criminal defendant from one country back here, whether it's extradition or some other process?
Yeah, so the most common way would be extradition. You'd need an arrest warrant for that, and he'd need to be in a country that would extradite him, that has an extradition treaty. Otherwise, there are other mechanisms. Sometimes in investigations, what's known as a lure is used. So, there may be a false pretense to get him to come back to the country, or to get him into another country where there is an extradition treaty. Those types of things have been used. It's a little more difficult when the investigation is as public as it is now. But also, if he's actually charged, then, they might also take steps to start seizing assets as well. They would probably have a basis to do that.
Interesting. All right. So I mentioned the RICO aspect of it because I wanted to end the conversation going back to R. Kelly. I wanted to ask you about R. Kelly's latest appeal. Just a couple of weeks ago, his attorneys went before the Second Circuit Court of Appeals in Manhattan, argued that using the RICO statute, usually we've seen it for organized crime like gangs, they say to prosecute Kelly through the RICO statute, that was unfair. The argument was that would mean that any kind of group, college fraternities, could be deemed a racketeering organization under that argument, under that view. What do you make of their argument?
Yeah, I actually went and watched the argument. I think I think the Second Circuit viewed it with skepticism, as do I. I mean, you can have, the law is really clear. You can have completely legitimate organizations that are a RICO enterprise. Labor unions have faced RICO charges. You know, a corporation can even be an enterprise under RICO. So you don't have to be an illegitimate organization or group or association to form that part of the enterprise. The next question is that enterprise or organization used to commit a pattern of racketeering activity? So, and is that pattern connected to the enterprise? That's where you get to the kind of criminality aspect to it. And I think that was proven in the R. Kelly case.
Nadia, before I let you go, you just reminded me of something, and I wanted to ask you about it. Do you think that they are going to subpoena J-Lo, Justin Bieber, Usher, these high-profile celebrities? Do you think it's, and I'll ask you that, and do you think they may work out deals with other people, perhaps high-profile individuals, to testify against Diddy? Again, he hasn't been charged with anything. I want to make that clear, but I'm talking hypothetically in an investigation. Are those two realistic possibilities?
I think prosecutors will talk to anyone they think has relevant information. Now, that doesn't mean they'll start with a subpoena. It usually starts with a reach out to see if someone will voluntarily speak to you. If that doesn't work and the prosecutors and agents think that the person really has relevant information, then, you know, their status as a celebrity is not going to stop them from getting subpoenaed and potentially having to testify.
Can you imagine that? All right. Nadia Shihata, thank you so much for coming on. Great work, by the way. You did put on a terrific case, and you put a really, really, I think there's the only word to describe it as a monster behind bars. So great work. Thank you so much for coming on, and appreciate your insight.
Thank you for having me.
And that is all we have for you right now here on Sidebar. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us. As always, please subscribe on Apple.
Okay, so as you guys heard, they are comparing this heavily to the R. Kelly trial, and you just heard the prosecutor that was on the R. Kelly team. Excuse me, not the R. Kelly team, on the plaintiff's team for the R. Kelly trial that put him away, said that this is going to be one of those things where they're going to, and that's why I asked the question I did, as you guys heard in the beginning with Law and Crime Network. Once again, shout out to them. For allowing me to even ask that question to them. These RICO charges, are they going to cause avenues in things? And they are. They are going to cause different avenues when you're talking about a RICO enterprise. So that remains to be seen. But remember, he hasn't been actually charged with anything yet. But if they are going to charge with him things, if they are going to charge him with anything, they're going to hit him with the book as far as different things. So remember, R. Kelly had different cases that he was going to court against, to the point where he got to finish out a sentence before he can go to trial for the next shit. So this is one of those things where Diddy goes to jail, he's going to go to jail for a while, then he's going to go to jail for something else, then he's going to go to jail for a while, and go to jail for something else. Another person that spoke out was Tanika Ray, a dancer that had a horrific experience with Diddy. Tanika Ray decided to come forth and share her experiences, her horrific experiences. I believe she put this on her Instagram story either today or yesterday.
You know, we all have stories. Seriously, we all have stories. Mine is horrific, and only 5 people know it. And I probably will never tell it. But since then, I've been like, yep. And I also am very intimately aware that you tell your truth and you become victimized over and over and over and over and over and over. And mind you, I then interviewed him many times. I have a lot of stories, y'all. I've been in Hollywood for 25 years, maybe longer, 30. I got a lot of stories. Unfortunately, maybe I'll write a book one day. But it just is so traumatizing that women just want to live every day and feel safe. And when we revisit, we live in a state of victimhood. And nobody wants to live there. So for those who are like, why didn't you say something then? because we just want to live. We want to be happy. And we really want to forget the trauma. So there's that.
I have a family member who I want you to hire them as an intern. Yeah. And I have never talked about this publicly. And then the internship stopped abruptly, like 3 or 4 months into it. Yeah. And I spoke to my family member, like, well, what happened? And they wouldn't say. Yeah. Years later, they finally came out, and this is a male. Puff had said, come home, stay the night with me, or the internship is over. And absolutely not. And the internship ended. But from there, I was like, oh.
Oh, yeah. You know, we all have stories. Seriously, we all have stories.
So I want to read
Mine
one thing
is
real quick.
Horrific.
I want to read that excerpt real quick, if I can.
Oh, yeah.
Because she mentions she was on the voter diet team. So in a man's world, women hold a lot in order to function every day in a man's world. Unforced, we can compartmentalization our pain and carry on. We utilize the experience as a lesson and we move differently. If I told my story in 1996, then what? I just knew to avoid him at all costs. Yes, I danced for him and kept my space. I was on the vote or die airplane and kept my space. I interviewed him for his prospects and kept my space. Nothing that is happening is surprising. Ladies, keep space to heal and move on is key. Gathering to incriminate is goals. But in this world, in this wild world, with a broke-ass system, our healing is priority. Shame on all those men that let this continue. Shame on me, maybe for prioritizing my mental health, some would say. But after working in a place that snatches souls, mine is intact. Mine is intact and a delight. I saved myself. Now, if someone needs me to pile on my story, give me a call. But I think Cassie got it. So it would be pretty interesting if we got one from, say, maybe a Storm Monroe or a Jaguar Wright. Heck, I might even reach out to Miss Tanika Ray to get the actual experience. Because if she was on the vote or die team, then this is back in 1996, there might be some implementation in some things that were going on. I wonder who he was dating in 96. But needless to say, if I told my story in 96, then what? 96. Big was still alive, I believe. Yeah, Big was still alive then. Interesting. I think I might reach out to Miss Tanika Ray. Let's see what might be known over there. One last person that chose to speak on it had a very interesting take on things. I was going to play Meek Mill's lawyer, but I don't want to steer the wheel away from what is going on here. But Suge Knight had a very interesting take on things. And we all know the beef between Suge Knight and Diddy wasn't actually a beef at all. As we saw the picture of Suge Knight sitting.
Everybody been talking about the Puffy situation. First, I'd like to pray for his family, his daughters and his sons, his kids, basically. That's never a good sign for nobody to cheer about when it comes to kids or young men being handcuffed. It's a bad day for hip-hop, for the culture, for black people. Because when one looks bad, we all look bad. Because that's definitely not nothing to cheer about. But I tell you what, Puffy, your life is in danger. Because you know the secrets, who's involved in that little secret room you guys participating in. So, they're going to get you if they can. It's a little crazy how Puffy get booted out the alcohol business, and Jimmy Iovine steps in with Andre and Snoopy promoting it. It's never a good look when it comes to culture of hip hop and for our community, our people. I turn myself in. Sometimes you gotta face the music. That's most of the time. Puffy, I'm gonna give you some real advice. 2 quick things. You gotta make a decision. When you go to prison, either you're gonna be standing up pissing or squatting, sitting down pissing. I advise you to try to take the first one, because if you're squatting, pissing on the seat, you know what that means. Oh yeah, by the way, do not do your time going by Brother Love. Brother Love is not a good code name for prison. I'm out.
And furthermore, I will say this, in closing, that I fear bodies are going to drop. If bodies don't drop, it might be just one body that'll drop. Reggie Wright said that Puff was the type of person that might blow his brains out. And when I'm hearing things like Suge Knight saying that he got all that information, of course, like I said before, all those avenues is going to be opening up with him having Lucian Grange in this case. Yeah, it is very dangerous for Diddy right now. Unfortunately, I'll say that. I don't wish death on any man. I'll never wish death on any man. I wish justice, but I won't wish death on anybody. So, with that being said, prayers do go out to the family, of course, and the kids. But Diddy, you done did it. And they actually spotted Diddy recently. What should I say? I think earlier today. They actually spotted Diddy with Stevie J. I was pretty shocked to see it, actually. But they actually did find the man. And he seemed to be just chilling. Well, not necessarily chilling, but you guys take a, you
Down here at Pura Vida by my pad, run into the man right here. Love. What's up? Miami's like that. Yeah. It's a movie.
Diddy is out and about in Miami, and he's even speaking now too. Evidenced in a new clip that an influencer took of the mogul out in the wild, who also captured Stevie J fitness trainer and life coach Wes Watson, who has more than 1 million followers on Instagram, posted a video and a photo on Friday that shows Diddy at a cafe in town called Pura Vida, and it looks like Puff was in a good mood, flashing a smile and even chatting. Unclear which location this was at specifically. There's a
in a good mood.
Zillion of these in the area.
Look at this. He ain't on the video, on the camera. That boy know he on his way to death row, unfortunately. He was surprised that he even had a camera on him. So, of course, Diddy has to do how Diddy does and, say, hey, I'm all smile still, all positive. But look how worried Stevie J looks. Look how worried Stevie J looks like, oh, shit. Why you got us on camera, man? What are you doing? And then Diddy, of course, has to save face and, hey, yeah, you got me. What can I say? What's up, everybody? Like I said, he's not all in the camera saying, yeah, what's up? You know what I'm saying? Me and my man, we just kicking it, You don't see none of that going on with Diddy. You just see a regular, hey, what's going on? No jewelry, no nothing. Just him and a worried Stevie J. Just trying to figure out what's going on, huh?
But our bet is that it was one of the ones close to Diddy's homes there on Star Island. In the clip, Diddy flashes an L with his fingers and says, love. He also says what's up to someone off camera and salutes them too. Funny enough, Wes actually caught Diddy's longtime bad boy collaborator and friend Stevie in the background as well. It's interesting that Stevie showed up here because he was also recently named in a lawsuit alongside Diddy, which included a salacious allegation that turned out not to be true. There was another guy rolling in their crew, but it's unclear who he might be. In any case, the point is, Diddy is stepping out and living his life. More evidence he's not hiding out.
Bullshit. Bullshit. Because if that was the case, that would be Diddy having him on his story and not the other way around. We haven't seen too much of Diddy posting on Instagram too much lately. I mean, rightfully so. The man is technically on the run. So I don't see him particularly doing any love stories anytime soon. In fact, I believe the last picture he posted, let's see here. Let me take a look here real quick. It looks like the last picture he actually posted. Trying to see what this is here. If Icon. This is Mr. Love's Instagram. The last picture he posted was about 2 weeks ago. Yep. It was 2 weeks ago. No comments, no nothing. Just him and the daughters. And one other person. That's about it. He hasn't really been doing much posting lately. Like I said, rightfully so. I can definitely understand that. But like I said, man, prayers goes out to the family and prayers go out to the kids, man. Shit done got real. Shit done got real for Diddy.